It's time for us to take a look at stories that made it to the front pages of our dailies. Now, kicking off with Daily Trust. Boldly there on the front page of Daily Trust, Tinubu's political advisor, Hakeem Baba-Ahmed, resigns. That is the only story we have there on the front page there, saying that Hakeem Baba-Ahmed has resigned. All right, if you are looking forward to getting more details on that, do well to check page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper amidst other stories. But look at the back, there are a lot of sports stories behind. Women's World Cup coming to US in 2031, UK in 2035, and Miss Farah United 6 rival on Red Double in Manchester Derby. These are the stories on sports at the back. But on the front page there is boldly that Hakeem Baba-Ahmed resigns. All right, let's take a look at Guardian. All right, on Guardian this morning, how vandalism, scavenging, ruin critical asset, damage economy. You find that on page 4 and 5 on Guardian. Will Lagos ever tame excess of its Agberu? That's a very critical story there. And still on Guardian, Bode George decries state of nation handling of Natasha and Rivers crisis. On the top left, DHQ dismisses Niger's MNJTF withdrawal, vows to eliminate Turji, and Afenifere cautions over indigenous status bill, cites ethnic tension and violence. Rivers sole administrator considers a new 2025 budget. All right. Coming down, petitioners adamant on Natasha's recall as INEC halts process. U.S. reciprocal tariffs cause stare as WTO warns of trade contraction. And at the bottom, JP Morgan bullish on Nigeria, predicts 1,450 naira per dollar by end of 2025. Okay. Those are the stories we have there on Guardian. Do well to grab yourself a copy and keep yourself informed. Now on Punch, boldly there on Punch, Trump's tariff threatens $10 billion US-Nigeria trade. 25-year free duty AGOA partnership in danger. Nigerian-American Commerce Chamber worries. Naira's crude revenue may plunge as U.S. begin enforcement on WED. Nasema raises concern. All right. Now on the top, for Punch, Afenifere rejects National Assembly bill on Indigeneship by marriage. Foreign trips, opposition slams Tinubu Shetima for wasteful spending. Hyenas nearly killed me in kidnappers' den, says the ex-NYSC DG. And on the bottom, maximum tears. Lagos commuters groan as Independence Bridge closure bites harder. I saw a pictorial and video of the traffic in Lagos. People who had to go to the island and had to pass that as their route. Students were stuck in traffic. Any emergency being there at the moment, the emergency would just emergency on. It was a lot. Oyo tightens security ahead of Alaafin's Saturday coronation, and Senate to review tax reform bills after Easter. All right, let us join our reviewer. Join our reviewer now, the former director of News Voice of Nigeria, Ben Shemang. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me, Lilian.
All right, let's kick off with, one of the stories that have made the waves this morning, boldly on Daily Trust there, where they said political advisor Hakeem Baba-Ahmed resigns. What do you make of that?
Well, I am surprised that in the first place that Hakeem Baba-Ahmed actually appointment to be the political advisor to President Tinubu. Facts been that he was an ardent critic of the man. And one is rather surprised that at the end he crossed over. But in crossing over, he got the appointment and he was posted to the office of the vice president. I've always seen him there each time I went there. And well, I don't know what impact the advice had. Was he advising the president and the president was not taking? The reasons given, what are they? Or is it an alignment or realignment with some people will call it, they said, Ahmed Rufai tsunami. Is he leaving Tinubu to join El Rufai? But again, as a rational human being, he has a right to move to wherever he wants. He has a right, even at the point of appointment, he can reject. Well in service, he can reject the way he has done. But again, where is he moving on to? Politicians, they are always moving. So let's see whether there's a destination this time around.
All right, we're seeing what the final play out of Natasha's recall. What do you make of it?
Honestly, it was just like the petition where you had Nedda Emerson saying that the petition was dead on arrival. It was the same thing with the attempt to recall her. It was dead on arrival. Where some people were deceived, kind of from what we were hearing. They said there was going to be a government welfare package. People should go line up. People should bring their voters card. People should, in the end, it didn't leaked that no, it was an attempt to recall Natasha. You could see that people in Okene, Okenyi, Ihima, and many other places, Ajaokuta, they were protesting that they were being deceived, and you can see this the end result. And I think that it shouldn't just be allowed to go just like that. Those who try to deceive Nigerians by faking signatures should be brought to book. It shouldn't just end just like that. It should not be swept under the carpet. And for Natasha, she's a dogged fighter. You can see that she's actually up to something. When I was in secondary school in Form 1 those days, as it was called, 1976, I mean, our hostel, the Russians and the Ukrainians who were in charge of building a Jakarta Steel Complex were in our school. They stayed in our school. And we were told that this was going to be the game changer for Nigeria. And that is what Natasha is still fighting for, bring back our Jakarta Steel Mill. Today, we are seeing that people are saying no. I wonder why. So kudos to Natasha, kudos to that symbol of democracy, symbol of struggle, especially for the Nigerian woman.
Indeed, indeed. Natasha has really been a voice to record. She has made sure that you can't stop hearing her voice. That indeed she has done. Now, Afenifere rejects the National Assembly bill on indigeneship by marriage. What do you make of this?
Well, I have not read the bill, but I have seen that people who marry in other places, they are given their rights of place politically. I mean, I saw that T.Y. Danjuma's wife, Daisy Danjuma, she's from Niger Delta, but at the point of contesting, she didn't contest in Taraba. She went to Delta to do that. We also had one in Kaduna State where the woman came from Adamawa, but she contested in Kaura local government in Kaduna State, and she became a member of the House of Representatives, and many like that. So I think that once somebody is married in a place, she should be accepted there. She should stay there forever because I mean, the marriage implies she has left the father's house and the mother's enclave too, and are going to a new abode. So any appointment should be there, and that's why at the point you could see the Suju Adis being appointed as commissioners of justice in Kaduna State. So that should be the thing, and I think that we should at this time be advocating for state of residence, not even state of indigent. You pay people like you now. You are in Abuja. Your children are in Abuja, given birth in Abuja. By the time they say, okay, they want to join NDA, they want to go to some universities, they now say, go and bring your indigenization form. You go to a local government where nobody knows you. Many of our children cannot even speak our languages. So I think that all those mundane laws should be left out completely.
All right. If our production could gladly put up Guardian, so we could take a story from Guardian. There's a couple of stories on Guardian there that piqued my interest, so let's have Guardian up. The story we have on Guardian, please. Okay, so on Guardian, we saw a story on scavengers. I would love to have that so that I can look at it clearly. We saw a story on scavengers where the government said that scavengers are, yes, how vandalism and scavengers ruin critical access and damage the economy. But that on the side now. Yes, let's take that, and then we'll also take the story of will Lagos ever tame excess of its agbero. But starting off with Guardian now. How vandalism and scavenging ruin critical access and damage economy. Now we saw that, the Minister of the FCT came and placed a ban on scavengers, trying to get them to register. Personally, I've experienced scavengers unscrewing my bulbs and fittings outside my house, even when they were not bad. So what's your take on this story, and what can be done to see that scavengers are being either duly monitored or, those who are in the wrong documented and properly put to justice when such vandalism take place?
Let me tell you a candid fact. Try from eastern part of Nigeria, past Benue, past Gude, past Kafanchan, past Haipang, go Jos, go to Bauchi, Maiduguri, or Unguru. You see that many of the rail tracks have been removed. Indeed. At what point? These are things that are so heavy, real heavy. You need a group of people to carry them. And you need trailers, pickups to carry them. At what point were they taken? How did they pass all through? At the point they said they've been exported. What happened? So these are critical assets that have been destroyed. Recall what you call the manhole spots here in Abuja. You just see that those irons have been removed. People will just run into them and commit and just have accidents. People are dying because the scavengers simply want to have a means of livelihood. And that's why we also need to be very, very thorough. What is being exported? Who has approved that they pass through? And when you look at checkpoints here and there, at what point are these things passing and somebody just giving them blessings? Something is fundamentally wrong. Government should find something to give the youth. Someone will just have an accident on the roadside. If your car sleeps there, God bless you. You return in the morning, you won't find anything. It has been removed in pieces. Except, it's unheard of, honestly. It's very, very unheard of. I think the scavengers, no matter who they are, there has to be a very normal way or formal way of having all of this. Even though when you begin to pile them up somewhere, they become a nuisance to the environment. But again, there has to be a better way of doing it. Many of them serve as thieves. Many of them serve as spies, as informants to some people somewhere in the dark world.
All right. Thank you very much, Ben Shemang, for always making out the time to join us for our daily review. We do appreciate your presence. Thanks once more.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we've come to the end of Daybreak this morning. To everyone who joined in and everyone who called in, sent in their messages and contributed on the show this morning, we say a big thank you and we appreciate your input. And to our guests who also joined in, we say thank you. We hope you've been able to pick something from our conversation this morning. I hope we'll be able to keep you informed and educated and giving you something to kickstart your day. Well, from our production studio and on behalf of our production crew, my name is Lilian Ogazi. Do have a beautiful weekend ahead.